Most people think rich and wealthy mean the same thing. They don't. And confusing the two is one of the biggest financial mistakes people make without realizing it. Being rich usually means having a lot of income. Being wealthy means having assets that generate income even when you stop working. That difference changes everything. A person can earn $500,000 a year and still be financially fragile. Another person can earn $80,000 a year and quietly build assets that make them financially free. One looks impressive. The other is powerful. Rich is about lifestyle. Wealthy is about ownership. Rich is about how much money flows through your hands. Wealthy is about how much money stays and multiplies under your control. Let's make this real. Imagine two people. Person one is a surgeon earning $700,000 per year. Big house, luxury cars, private school tuition, vacations, high expenses. Everything looks successful. But if that surgeon stops working for 12 months, the income stops. The mortgage remains. The lifestyle remains. The pressure remains. Now imagine person two. This person earns $100,000 per year. Not flashy, no exotic cars. But over 15 years, they quietly bought rental properties. They invested in index funds. They reinvested dividends. They built a small online business. If they stop working tomorrow, money still flows in. Which one is rich? Which one is wealthy? This is the difference. Rich people can look powerful. Wealthy people are powerful. Rich people spend to signal status. Wealthy people buy assets that signal nothing but produce everything. Rich is visible. Wealth is invisible. This is why so many people chase the wrong target. Society celebrates rich. It rarely notices wealthy. You see the athlete signing a $50 million contract. You don't see the investor who owns 10 apartment buildings generating cash every month. You see the influencer buying a new car. You don't see the quiet shareholder reinvesting profits year after year. Rich people earn big. Wealthy people own big. Now let's go deeper. Income is not the same as net worth. Income is what you make. Net worth is what you own minus what you owe. A person making $200,000 a year with massive debt and no assets can have a lower net worth than someone making $60,000 who consistently invests and avoids lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is one of the biggest traps in modern finance. When income increases, spending increases. You get a raise. You upgrade the apartment. You upgrade the car. You upgrade the wardrobe. You upgrade the vacations. Your income grows. Your freedom does not. This is how people become rich but never wealthy. Wealth requires delayed gratification. Wealth requires reinvestment. Wealth requires ownership. Let's talk about ownership clearly. Wealthy people own assets that appreciate or produce income. Stocks, real estate, businesses, intellectual property, royalties, equity. They do not rely only on earned income. Rich people often rely heavily on earned income. That is fragile. If your wealth disappears when you stop working, you are not wealthy. You are well paid. That is a very important distinction. Now let's talk about time. Time is the hidden multiplier in wealth. A wealthy person understands compounding. They invest early. They reinvest returns. They think in decades. Rich thinking is often short-term. Wealth thinking is long-term. Here is a simple example. Two friends start at age 30. One decides to invest $500 per month into a diversified index fund earning an average long-term return. The other waits until 45 to start, but invests $1,000 per month. The one who started earlier will likely end up with more money, even though they invested less per month. Why? Time. Compounding rewards. Patience. Wealth grows quietly in the background. Rich looks loud. Wealth moves silently. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people chase rich because it feels faster. A big salary feels like progress. A viral business feels like success. A large paycheck feels like achievement. But if that paycheck funds consumption instead of assets, nothing changes structurally. Wealth is structural. Rich is temporary. Another example. Lottery winners often become rich overnight. Many go bankrupt within years. Why? Because they received income without building wealth behavior. Meanwhile, someone who slowly built rental properties for 20 years rarely goes broke overnight. Wealth built slowly is resilient. Rich built quickly is fragile. Before we continue, if this is shifting how you think about money, subscribe to the channel. We are building a full series that teaches what most people were never taught about wealth, investing, and financial independence. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's get even more practical. Rich people often optimize for income. Wealthy people optimize for assets. Rich ask, how can I make more money this year? Wealthy ask, how can I acquire assets that will pay me for years? Rich focus on salary negotiation. Wealthy focus on equity. Rich focus on spending power. Wealthy focus on buying power. Rich might buy a luxury car with cash. Wealthy might buy shares in the company that manufactures that car. One consumes. One owns. Now think about retirement. A rich person retires when they save enough money. A wealthy person retires when their assets produce enough income to cover expenses. That is a completely different strategy. Saving alone does not create wealth. Ownership does. Wealthy people understand risk differently too. They do not avoid risk completely. They manage it. They diversify. They spread investments across sectors and assets. They build multiple income streams. Rich people sometimes take concentrated risks for large income spikes. Wealthy people build systems, and systems survive individuals. Here is another real scenario. Imagine someone earning $300,000 per year, but spending $280,000. They feel successful, but their savings rate is tiny. Now imagine someone earning $90,000, but investing $30,000 per year. Who becomes wealthy faster? The one with the higher savings rate and asset ownership, not necessarily the higher income. Wealth is built in the gap between income and spending, then multiplied through assets, not through income alone. Now let's address something important. There is nothing wrong with being rich. High income is powerful, but high income without asset discipline becomes a trap. The goal is not to choose between rich and wealthy. The goal is to use rich to become wealthy. Use high income to buy assets. Use bonuses to invest. Use raises to increase ownership. Do not let lifestyle expand faster than your asset base. Wealth is freedom. Rich is status. Freedom outlasts status. Status fades. Assets remain. If your lifestyle is funded by income, you are dependent. If your lifestyle is funded by assets, you are independent. That is the difference. And once you understand this, your financial decisions change. You stop asking how to look successful. You start asking how to become financially untouchable. You stop chasing bigger paychecks only. You start chasing ownership. You stop upgrading your life every time income increases. You start upgrading your asset base. This is the shift from rich thinking to wealthy thinking. And that shift is what builds generational power. Because wealthy people pass down assets. Rich people pass down stories. If you want financial freedom, stop aiming to look rich. Start aiming to build wealth. And once you do that, everything changes.